We're all playing out a script that we wrote. Nothing to do with God. We wrote the script, and
Right.
with the ego,
Right.
and that's, again, we go back to the point where the Holy Spirit takes our script and then uses us to get us home. And the beautiful part about the forgiveness, and I think we discussed this last time, is to realize that we're not forgiving anything in the world. That's an impossibility. Like, we don't forgive another body for doing certain things. What we do is we go back to the mind, and we forgive our mind's miscreations, which is the script. No matter what seems to come up, we have to take responsibility for it. That's why the Course says we cannot be a victim of the world we see, because we made it up.
I could like to
Yeah.
intervene here for
Yeah.
1 second. I just
Sure.
want to number one, I just want to get the light. Our light is gone a little dim here, so I'm just going to plug this in. Just going to
Will it
plug this
reach?
in.
There
Well,
you go.
it's going to have to because we're going to make it
We're
reach.
running out of power.
No, we're not running out of power. We're just it's just one of these silly things that go on. So this is you know what it is, Eric. It's a technical forgiveness lesson.
Technical forgiveness lesson.
All right, so I just want to intervene a little bit about the script. Lloyd is really, that's really his bailiwick. It's the script is written is really his thing, and it goes very deep, and there's a lot to say about the script. But I want to get back a little bit to we have to understand the motivation of the script that we wrote with the ego. We wrote the script with the ego, and the motivation of the ego script is to prove that I'm an innocent victim of a victimizing world. It's really important to keep that in mind. That's the motivation behind the ego script. We feel victimized by our lives, by our health conditions, by a certain relationship, by all kinds of different things. There are billions of scripts playing themselves out, and we feel victimized. But like the disappearance of the universe says, it's Independence Day when you learn to cut the strings of the ego and you learn to understand that I'm not a victim of the world I see because I invented the world I see. And the other component of that, essential component, is to understand I can't do this on my own, seeing from my own ego. I have to have help from outside the matrix, from outside the script. There's no other way. And I like to use the example of the Matrix movie when Neo was in his workplace and he was in the cubicle, sort of living a life of quiet desperation, but also knowing that there was something coming around the corner and he was going to be on to something very soon. And he gets a phone call from his guide, Morpheus, and Morpheus was there to guide him out of the matrix. So I just wanted to use that. Like we have to have help outside the matrix.
And God can't help us because that would make it real, right?
God can't help
That's
us
correct.
because that's very good. Yeah, he can't help us, but he gave us the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And God, no, he can't help us like as a person, but we are firmly located, if you will, in the mind of God. My mind is part of God. I am very holy. So ultimately, he is helping us by
Right.
helping us understand that none of it is real. Yeah, and that's not spiritual bypassing, by the way. I know I figured that was going to come up eventually, the spiritual bypassing thing. But yeah, it's not spiritual bypassing simply because it takes years, in my experience, of very deep mind training. The mind has to be prepared in order to, and that's not spiritual bypassing. That is a direct confrontation of the ego mind and an understanding of what the ego is doing so you can eventually learn to disregard it. Like the Course says, the one thing that the ego cannot defend itself against is disregard. So by doing a deep dive into the ego, we learn to disregard the ego.
And really, God is helping us, but it's helping us with the Holy Spirit in our mind. And really, when you really understand what the Holy Spirit is, the Holy Spirit's not an entity, although it's very good to think that the Holy Spirit is an entity that's helping us, because we need that when we first start on this journey. But really, the Holy Spirit is just, it's us.
The memory of God.
It's the memory of God, that
Right.
spark, that was planted in our mind. And that's why it says, you know, God goes with me wherever I go. But it's wherever I go in my mind, because that spark is always there and it's waiting. And it waits patiently until we're ready to say, boy, there must be a better way. You know, they're just words. You could use anything, but you know, at some point you're going to see that this world doesn't work. I mean, look at the chaos that seems to be happening, but
Right.
it's only seems to be happening because it's all made up. There's, of course, when you accept atonement, you're accepting the fact that nothing happened. And that's really important. That's the acceptance of the atonement. And then you go about, you know, really understanding why it never happened. Because we can't leave our source. It's an impossibility. But we think we did.
And it goes to the lesson: God did not create a meaningless world. So when we look around the world and we see the meaningless violence, the meaningless cruelty, the meaningless acts that we're committing every day, uh, the certain recognition, in even someone who's never picked up the course, even someone who's never had an interest in spirituality, that this, I think we all have that intuitive nudge that this can't be right. Something's off. Something's a leak in the matrix maybe, that, you know, we're peeking out and saying that, as you said, and as Bill said, there has to be another way. There has to be a better way.
And once you ask that question, and you really sincerely want the answer will come. I mean, it's a done deal. It says, not one note in heaven's song has ever been missed, which simply means we all made it home. It's already happened. It's just that we have to wake up to the fact that it's already happened, because we keep choosing the crazy mad idea every day.
Right.
Every day that we make the world real and we react to it, we're choosing the crazy mad idea.